Hey, all about the girls listeners. Thanks for coming in for another episode. Today we have the lovely, talented, funny, hilarious, wonderful Janice Rodriguez, who is a comedian, successful entrepreneur, events coordinator extraordinaire, if you will. I had such a fun time talking with her. Check out her podcast. As I mentioned last episode, her and Colleen Brennan had me on Defending Indiana. It's a really fun podcast all about Indiana and Hoosiers. Also, she has the website that will be launching soon, Las Locas Comedy. Check out that podcast, the Defending Indiana podcast. All about her we're going to learn today, so check it out and let's welcome Janice Rodriguez. Welcome Janice Rodriguez to All About the Girls, the podcast. We obviously just had Colleen, your cohort of Defending Indiana, the podcast. Thanks for joining us, and let's dive right in. Tell me a little bit about you've got a great kind of background in podcasting, comedy. Tell us a little bit, for those that don't know you, a little bit about yourself.
Where do I start? It was a cold day in 1978 at St. Margaret's Hospital in Hammond, Indiana. I was born to a cold, hard world. No, I'm just joking. Annoying. I know. I should have been more in drama. I'm so annoying. About me. Okay. Let me give you like the condensed version. I just had my 43rd birthday, so I'm like really feeling it right now. So
okay.
I was 43. Like, I would say the most condensed version is I am an entrepreneur. I've owned a very successful, wow, that sounds so very fun. It was successful until the pandemic hit. I had a event staffing promotions, like brand ambassador business for 15 years, and then COVID hit. So it was like, But 5 years ago, while I was like super, super busy, I was like doing that whole work-life balance, like really struggling, working all the time. At that time, I had like a staff of like 5 people. We were remote. I mean, it was just crazy. And so I was like, I always wanted to do like something. I want to do something for myself. I'm doing it right now. And it was like about this time, was it 2015? And well, the reason is because it was a New Year's resolution. So I'll skip ahead. Right. I decided to, I looked ahead and I was like, oh, I want to do comedy. I want to do stand-up. I'm just gonna take a class. And I found this class, Feminine Comique, which is still happening at Lincoln Lodge here in Chicago. And fantastic. Long story short, people laughed. I was like, I love this. And so since then I've started a comedy show production called, and like collective, if you will, called Las Locas Comedy, which highlights Latina and Latinx comedians. We have a show tonight, so I know this is going to be later, but it's first Thursdays of every month at Laugh Factory in Chicago. Check it out.
Fantastic.
And then from there, that's led more opportunities, like to start this podcast, Defending Indiana, with my friend and fellow comedian, Colleen Brennan. And then I started another podcast called Las Locas Life, because we kind of, from the comedian's perspective, like we were always like, aha, funny. But then there's so many like other bigger things happening. And so I was like, wait, I don't want to like comment about some things through like a comedic lens. Some stuff's a little bit more serious. So that's where Las Locas Life came from, and had some setbacks this year because of everything with the pandemic and having to push some things out.
Of course.
My work situation, I was like, I got to take some freelance work in between the business, like coming back. Cause obviously I was in events and that just took
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's going to be happening. And I'm still going to hopefully launch that website at the beginning of 2022. And just, again, trying to just get those creative juices flowing and kind of get back to writing and things like that. So it's a big shift for me happening right now in the last couple of years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And did you want to do comedy all your life, or really was it, and you just decided to get into it then? Or was it something that was new to you?
It's weird, because once you start like doing something, you're like, oh, I remember this. And like, cause I was just saying, like, I wasn't really even like in plays in high school and stuff. And I don't know. I guess when you're a kid, you kind of like want to do something, and then you're strangely shy, but with your friends, you're like, I think my friends would say I'm funny. And I come from a funny family, and, but it's a big difference to be funny when you're with friends and like going on stage and like preparing material and performing. I mean, cause stand-up's like just you, and it's just like,
Stand-up just seems to me one of the hardest things in the whole world. Yeah. I am a person, I love the attention on me, obviously. That's just who I am person.
You're like, I'm amazing. I love it.
Exactly. I don't think anyone would question that or disagree. But I just think comedy is a whole new world where stand up, I mean, it's only you on the stage. It's make or break. No one usually says, oh, that was pretty good. It's like killed it or, oh my gosh, it was terrible.
Yeah, like didn't like it. Yeah, for sure. And it depends on your style. It depends on like, because that's the thing. I think even if you're like not an amazing performer, you have to be a really good writer. Like I think people forget that. I think people are like, oh, like my friend John's a ham. He'd be great. I'm like, but what is he going to talk about?
Yeah,
like
you can't just
little
get up
gimmicks. Yeah,
no
that gets you so far. Totally.
Yeah.
So, so that's a lot of that process of like, ooh. And then I think too, just a random like aside, like because I had the business and people were like, well, you should have a stage name. And I was like, oh, what if my clients see my stuff? And then at some point I was like, you know what? This is me. Here's my name. Like people are going to say Janice anyway, because the way it sounds like it's me. I'm out here. But that was a big concern too. People, you know, no, we're not out here making that, you know, Ellen DeGeneres money. Right. You know, so it's like some people like they're teachers or I mean, I've got friends that are psychologists that are comedians, and it's just like, it's hard because they're trying to keep that separate and make sure there's no like conflicts.
The two lives being separate. Yeah. That's gotta be tough too.
But you know, stuff gets out there. And if like your employer's like, oh, I saw this on you, you're like, what? So it just really kind of depends. So I'm glad I work for myself in that respect.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be a comedian at the GreatNewsLife. Positive only news. We're pretty deep, so I can understand that would be a really weird kind of transition or move for me. Or just trying to keep the two separate would be really tough. Like you almost probably feel like you have two lives at some point, but you've managed to make it work. And like you said, working for yourself probably helped a ton. And I mean, I feel like today's day and age, hopefully people know comedy's comedy, you know. Your stage and your presence and the things you say, it's supposed to be funny and light and comedy.
I mean, well, that's a whole nother subject, but yeah, I mean, because I mean, a lot of times the comedians of today are really the like cultural connectors. So yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about all light, fluffy stuff, you know. I'm not gonna. I mean, talking about what's happening in the world, but again, the whole thing is like your perspective, but to the point that it's relatable to somebody else. And then what is that sense of humor? What's that sense of like connection that both people could be like, even if you don't agree, be like, oh, that's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to keep an open mind to it if you're already kind of going in with something. Cause I mean, there's a lot of things too about like, I mean, I don't know if you and Colleen talked about this, but there's this weird thing about, this thing out there that women aren't funny. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I feel like we'll find out. So hers launches Sunday for those listeners. Obviously, that you know we don't do space travel, it's time travel.
Right.
This is before that one comes out. And you're right.
Edit this out. I keep referencing.
No, I think it's totally fine. I love it. I think she did mention that is a big kind of thought or old school cliche that people think. It seems so crazy to be
it's bizarre, right? But no, it's a weird thing. And you hear from people on Defending Indiana, we had and you could listen to it because it's you know it's up there already. Very famous New York Times bestselling Oprah book author Ashley C. Ford, who's from Fort Wayne. She has a memoir out right now. And we talked about when she did some stand up at Ball State for a little bit. And then some guy came up to her afterwards and was like, you're funny. I just really didn't think women are funny. And we just laughed because we're like, we've all had that experience.
Like
I don't usually like women. That's what I've had somebody say that to me. I'm like, cool, talk to a psychiatrist. Like, not my problem. You know,
not my problem. Yes.
So, I mean, not to get too heavy here, but I'm just saying, like, there's just a different kind of dynamic with some things. And so you're already going against that. Like, people coming to see you, or maybe you're on a lineup and they're like, I don't know how I feel about, like, already with preconceived notions. I'm like, could you just have fun? Drink your beer, open your mind, you know?
Just give it a try. If you hate it, that's fine. But give it a try. If I can't make you laugh, that's fine.
Yeah. I can see your scowl from across the room. It's fine. just keep drinking your beer. Just don't talk. Don't talk and don't heckle.
Don't heckle. No.
Yeah.
We will.
Those are the rules. You can hate me silently. That's fine. I'm used to.
Yeah. And just, if
I
you
gotta have a thick skin. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned Defending Indiana. I love the podcast. You guys recently had me on. It's a blast. It's all, you know, I love the premise of, listen, we're from Indiana. We can talk all the crap we want about Indiana, but if you do, we're going to
Right.
stab you. So I think
exactly a lot of stabbing and cut. Jesus. I don't know why we went straight to knives. I mean, very region. Like
very
a good knife.
region-based, yeah. So that one, Colleen talked a little bit about the history and how you guys met. Tell that story from your eyes or from your point of view. How did Defending Indiana become a thing?
Oh, well, yeah, 100% credit to Colleen. Seriously, she had the idea. She asked me about it, and that was actually the first podcast that I've done. Now that I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, let's start 55 more. I'm not going to. It's a lot of work, as you know.
It is a lot of work. Yes,
it's a lot, and Colleen does a lot of the heavy lifting with kind of production and lining up guests and things like that. So a ton of credit. Most of the credit to her, 100%. But yeah, she was just like, I have this crazy idea. What do you think? And again, just trying to kind of, what are we talking about? And I think it's kind of even evolved as it happens. You know, like when you start something, you're like, here's what we're going to do. But as the guests, we started getting guests. And I mean, I think it could have gone one way. I think it could have gone like totally haha funny to the point of like, not making fun of Indiana, because I mean, obviously we're from there, but to the point where like, hey, it's us. Let's all like kind of,
almost like a pile.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you do.
Right. Let's get together and be like, oh, isn't that funny? Remember that thing? And let's talk about, there's more than corn in Indiana and like fun. I guess initially maybe I thought we were going to do that, but then I'm like, wait, where's the depth in that? You only have so many episodes. Right. So then we just started talking to people and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. And we've had comments on like our social about, hey, when are you guys going to talk about this? And I'm like, oh, the new legislative season. Okay. Let's get a state senator on. Let's talk about XYZ law. And I'm like, okay, like, and we're both smart, college educated people. And, had dreams of journalism or communications at one time. And we're both very politically active to the point of just current events and just staying with stuff. Yeah. We feel like we can talk about it. We don't want to be like two slapsticky comedians. Like, hey, let's talk about that new law. Like no, when you're talking to somebody, you want to be serious about it. And I think we have the chops to do that. But also as you can listen and you've heard, then if there's an opening for a quick joke, let's do it. And try to make it more relatable and approachable, because it is kind of tough to talk about these really tough subjects. And some subjects we just could not joke about at all. So it's interesting how that's kind of evolved. Like some things are just a little more like NPR-y and very like news-based, and we're just sharing information and then sharing, the beginning of each episode is us kind of sharing our, anecdotes about the subject and personal stories, things like that. So yeah, it's cool how it came about, and I guess people like it. They're listening. So.
They are listening. Yes. That's how we got connected. Was I heard about the podcast from a friend of mine who's a Hammond police officer. They listen a lot, and he had
so funny. Tell me offline who it is. I probably went to high school with them.
Okay. Yeah, you might. I'll have to. I never asked him that.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, I'm super gonna.
Seriously, like all of this, like class of '96, Gavin High School. They're all like cops and firemen.
Oh my gosh.
So Hammond.
Listen, I know. I just actually went to their Halloween party, and it was like my friend was kind of doing this party with his friend who works for the city. Show up, and it's literally like 10 Hammond PD, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. I enjoy this a lot, but wasn't.
And I'm laughing because I'm like, remember when we used to have parties back in the day? Like I like, do you go in and like, I bet like some of the guys that trained him were some of the guys that were like chasing us through backyards. No, that never happened, guys. Just never.
That wasn't me. That was
me. You guys can see the face.
Guilty face.
I'm like, it wasn't me. Nah.
Yeah, it was fun, but also, you just know all these city people, and I work with all these people, so you don't ever want to be inappropriate, and it's probably the same for you on the kind of comedy side where you go, you're like, oh, is that Judge McDermott? Oh, I better be on my best behavior.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I don't do a ton. I guess I wouldn't recognize some people. I know. I mean, obviously, I went to high school with Aaron, so the mayor's son.
Okay.
Son, brother, Jesus.
Yeah.
The old mayor's son.
Yes.
So yeah, I recognize him. But I know there's some, I mean, if you looked at my like Facebook, I'm sure we'd find we're all like connected. Because
my gosh,
I'll stay in touch.
There's a web.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't think about that. What scares me more if it's like my mom's there. That's really more that.
Now, is your mom one that
the mayor?
Yeah, you're like
the congressman. Nah. My mom, and then I'm like, Mom, I'm doing that set tonight that you don't like. So it's just,
And does she come? Tell me a little bit about your family. So let's dive into that since you brought your mom up. Does she come to your shows?
Yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, are you I obviously ask her, I'm like, are you coming tonight? Because then it depends on what I'm gonna do. And sometimes I'll tell her, like, I love my mom. Amazing woman. I wouldn't say she's conservative, but kind of. She's still my mom. And I know her level of like stuff and some of the edgier stuff that's not her thing. And so if I know a certain comedian is real, like, I'm like, you're not gonna like this person. So,
maybe not this one, Mom.
Yeah, maybe not this one.
Catch the next one. And do you have siblings? You're married? Do you have siblings?
2 older brothers. I am married. That sounds so happy. Again, part of my shtick.
I noticed on your site too, of course, I would always try to do a little stalking that you mentioned that you're a neglectful wife, which I thought was so fantastic.
It's horrible.
You're a childless, neglectful wife. And I thought, I feel this in my soul, number one.
I don't know. Are you married?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I married.
It's fun, right?
It is fun, but I often feel like, you always try to keep up with the Joneses at some point, but I always feel that way where I'm like, I'm just not around enough. Should I be better? And my husband's the same. He's no better. He loves to work. He's part of the fire department, like volunteer or whatever. So it's not just me. I think it's both of us, and that's why we work. But I often feel that way.
That's what I'm saying. That's what works. Because we're like apart a lot and we have our own thing. And I think for some people, they're like, that's weird. And I'm like, nope.
No,
that's
I think
how
both of us would be fine alone, but we decided that we like each other enough to not be. And so it works really well. And
that's the way to do it. I know. And exactly. Once you stop comparing stuff to Joneses and like, oh, their marriage with their, 3.5 kids and whatever, like our lives are very different than a lot of people, then it works for us. And, but I still make fun of it because it's, that's life. I mean, I'm this dude 24/7, 365. I'm like, let's talk about this. You're giving me too much material here. But it is funny because I remember like if you watch like old school comedy and it's always like talking about not like the dishwasher and how people load dishes or put the toilet paper roll in. I'm like, I'll never do stuff like that. And then recently I was like writing something. I was like, oh, it happens to everybody.
Oh no.
Because it's like what you're like, I haven't really done a lot of stuff like that, but it's just those are just relatable things. And it's like, God, why is this so annoying?
Yep.
It's just like a universal truth. I'm like, why are the dishes backwards and why is the sink? Yeah. This is what happens.
Can you not put the Tupperware back in the right place?
Why? Yeah.
Why? I just don't understand it. You live here too. You see it all the time. What is happening?
Or it was funny. I saw this meme the other day about ice cubes. Like, you're an adult when you don't kick the ice cube, but you actually pick it up. And I was like, I just saw him do that. And I was like, really, dude?
Oh my gosh.
He's like, just water. I was like, I'm going to kill.
It's on our floor. I'm going to slip and fall and die, break my leg.
Wet socks. Like, it's cool. Fine.
It's totally fine.
These are the levels of our fights. Like, that's how good.
Oh, I know. I feel like the longer you're married, like the big stuff, it's not a problem anymore. And so you really just go in hard on the little stuff. Like, I don't understand why you think that you can put 3 layers in the dishwasher. It doesn't get the second to clean. And it's just
like things on top. I'm like, that's not how it works.
No, water doesn't get in between there. Or like, I don't understand why you just don't take out the trash instead of, piling on. But I think that's good. It's a good sign of, it's the little stuff. If that's all you have to worry about, the big stuff's
all figured out. The big stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've been there, done that. All the big life. And of course, more stuff will happen, but yeah, it's just those everyday life, annoyances. Yeah. And,
yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, is that a word? Am
I making this up as you speak?
We're recording in the morning. We were talking offline. I was like, oh man, me in the mornings. Like
I know. It's hard.
It's funny. Do you remember when you were a kid? Like I was like one of those bouncy kids who couldn't wait to get to school. I'm a dork.
I was like, too.
I was like up at 6 and now I cannot get up. Like I just can't.
Yeah. I was the friend, especially as mine was weird. It was like, I liked to sleep a little bit when I was a kid. And then like 5th grade to like 30, I didn't sleep. And I don't know why, like my friends were like,
you're like 10 to 30. It was
I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before. I'm not sure. So for any listener that's heard this 7 times, I just was the friend that like, I never slept. I'm 38. I just now have like the last probably 3 years started like sitting down to watch a movie. I'm just hyper. Like I was the friend that was always first awake. I was the friend that was like annoyed that my friend was sleeping in until 9 because I'm up at 6 and like, what are we doing? This is so boring. And she won't wake up. Yeah. Like that was me. Even through college, I'm like, hey, everybody, are you ready? It's Lollapalooza day. And they're like, Jenny, we're 23. I'm hungover. I don't care about you.
Right. We're going at 4.
Exactly.
And
It's
that random
9.
band that you don't know
talk
is
to me for
playing.
4
Right.
hours. Yeah, exactly. So tell me a little bit about women in your life. Talk about one or any women in your life that have really strongly, impacted you. This is a women empowerment podcast. So I love to learn from my guests who really impacted you. What are those women that made you feel really strong and empowered?
Ooh, I love it. Well, I'll start with my mom. She just retired, and she was a physical therapist that's kind of specialized in, I think it's fair to say, geriatrics. She worked at Munster Medin for quite a while in Munster, and then prior to that was with the VA, and then was a director of rehab in St. Anthony's here in Chicago. And kind of like, I mean, obviously physical therapy's been around since like I think World War I-ish, but like it didn't really. It hit like after. I'm like, it hit, but she's like, in the 70s was in school in Puerto Rico, and like came up here with a bunch of her friends, and like made these amazing careers and families and everything. So that's just always really inspiring to me, especially like at that time where there's still, I mean, it still happens, but weird stuff with women in the workplace and trying to like balance all that. I mean, we're talking like, the 80s, 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, real bad. I was like, is it any better now? But real bad, like still bad, but like, we talk about because her my father and hers like first apartment was in Maryville, and it was that early where like something about the credit, like she couldn't get an apartment in her own name. And she's weird. Like, she couldn't get a car in her own name. Like her boss had to co-sign a car for her.
Wow.
And she's like, dude, here's my paycheck. Like, I'm the one with the job. Like,
I'm working.
Yeah. And that's how it was in the 70s. There was these laws. Like, we had to have major, like, federal overhaul of whatever. So anyway, amazing person. And, I mean.
Worked through all of that.
Yeah. And just, like.
Still made a name.
You could really, just being really dedicated to, like, the care of other people. Not my bag. Like, not for me, man. Sorry.
Same. Totally understand.
Like, I'll hold your hair back if you're puking, but even then I'm like, I'm not, I'm not that person. Like, I'll drive you to the hospital.
I will help you in any way. I'm a fixer.
I'll do a GoFundMe.
I don't want to do.
I'll throw a benefit show. Like, I'm good at events. Like, that's what I do.
See?
Like, I'm a planner, but if you need me to like comfort you, like probably not your best bet. Just, that's cool. Like, we should just know who we are and where our strengths are.
Yeah. And then everybody should have those people, right? Like the person that you call when you need to cry isn't always the person you call when you need to have a beverage, or that you want
get something done.
Or that you want advice from. Those can be different people. I'm a fixer.
I'm down for the drinking and advice, but just the crying, I don't know.
Thank you. I'm not good. No, I can't. Like we can hug like for 1 minute and then I'm over it. And so,
Are you good now? Because then that's the problem. I go right into action. I'm like, how do we fix this?
Yes.
Which is annoying if you just want to vent. But people should know that about me. And they'll tell me like, hey, I'm just going to vent. And I'll be like, and I know now. I'm like, okay, like, do you want to hear my opinion about it? Or we're just I'm letting you dump. It's just like dump session. Cool. Then I'm like, quiet Janice. But if you're like, want me to make plans, I will lay out like a 12 not 12 step, but you know what I mean? There's benchmarks, there's like a timeline, there's a Gantt chart. Like I will like put it to work, guys.
But you will feel better, damn it. And I will be proud of how I got you there. Right. It will all be fantastic. It was not via hugs, but it was a route.
There we go. It's okay. It's fine. I accept myself. I used to be like, oh, I'm not. No, that's who I am. And it's a good thing. Sorry.
Yes, me too. So as the neglectful wife, I think it was actually a workaholic neglectful wife. Tell me, I always love to bring up work-life balance. So, I've had women say, who cares? It doesn't exist. My balance is not balanced and I like it that way, or I really strive for a balance. Where do you find yourself on that kind of chart?
Well, I mean, like I said, a lot has changed since a pandemic and everything has changed. Yeah. But it was happening like before that. Like I think when I started comedy, so we're talking like 5 years ago, where I was like, because we made the decision kind of early not to have children. That's a totally mutual decision, but it was something we need to talk about. Because I was like, because at that time the business was doing really well, and like there was just a thing there, and I was like, I don't know. But I mean, that's a whole nother episode if you want.
We should
Childless
actually
by
have an
choice.
episode.
All
Yeah,
good.
me and my husband did the same thing. We decided
Yeah.
early on even in our dating life that I had told him I didn't want kids, and it was almost like a
Okay.
surprise to him. He was like, "Wait, you don't want kids?" And I thought, "Oh crap, here it goes."
Yeah.
And he was
Not
just
gonna
so surprised that there was someone else that didn't want kids, and that was actually an option. Like he felt like
Thank you.
he was almost like a thing he had to do because either
Mhm.
his wife would want kids
Yeah.
or like you had to have kids because that's what's
Just
expected. And
have to,
so
right.
when I was like, "No, I don't want kids," and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is
What?
the future. I love this route."
Yeah. No, so it's something you talk about early and often.
really has to
Because
be,
even
yes.
like
You can
a
change.
couple years ago, like I had that one last talk with like, my gynecologist. Too much info, whatever. I'm
No,
a sharer.
there
And
is
it's
no
just
such
like
thing.
she kind of looked me in the eyes. She's like, and I was like, gotcha. But like I even went home and like we talked about it again. I was like, dude, last chance, and it probably would be like hard at this point.
Right.
And he's like, "Do you want me to say?" I'm like, "What do you want to say?" He's like, "I don't want it." Like we both
Okay,
were like, "We don't
good.
want it."
Still no?
Like
Great.
shaking in the corner. And
Don't
it's
even
almost
bring
weird
it
that we
up.
had to like give ourselves permission to even feel that way.
Yeah.
But again, to go back to the work-life balance, it's just that we had to have that conversation early because that
Mhm.
would have changed like everything.
Yeah.
Kids, as it should, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So for women who are like doing it all, man, God bless you, because I felt like I wanted to pull my hair out and I did not have a
I
human
know.
being to like nurture and raise and like make thrive in this world. And I already felt crazy.
Yeah.
Trying
I
to do
feel the
it.
same. Just like
Oh,
after a
yeah.
day, you're like, how do you come home and like make dinner for a different human? And then they're going to tell you they hate it.
They don't like it.
You can't throw them outside. It's illegal. And I
They need
can't.
care. They need like a hug.
Yeah.
And like it's sweet to sit there and listen when they're like, "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." See, like no,
Nope.
I knew I was out. Like I just couldn't even. At like 16, like babysitting one time, I was like, "Nah, I'm done. Like this is not for me."
I love you, kindred spirits. Same. I had a babysitting job for my parents asked me to do it. I was 15. Of course, this is the 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
where you could at 15 babysit 3 children.
Oh, 15.
Why?
My best friend was babysitting at like 10. We were just talking about this the other day.
Exactly. Oh
We
my
were
God.
watching like small children at 10
What-
years
Who
old.
put us in charge of this? Don't do that. It's such a terrible idea.
But you know what? Sorry, I want you to come back to your story, but I do think that we were more responsible back then. Strangely
We
enough,
were.
because we
Like,
weren't
we cared
distracted.
more.
I think cell phones. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm gonna go on a tangent.
Nope,
here.
I
But
totally
I do
understand.
think like kids today, and good, be a kid, right? I do think we were a lot more. There just wasn't as many distractions.
You're exactly right. Like that's why I hated it so much. Was like I would go to their house every
That's why I
morning,
hated it.
babysit. It was like
I don't have
7
55
nights.
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Literally, there's nothing to do, and
There's
I'm
nothing
like,
to do.
I was such a
VHS
jerk too.
tapes?
Like, yeah, it was like lazy kid. I'm like, they're like, let's go to the park. I'm like, no, it's summer, it's hot. We're
It's
sitting
hot.
here. Sit down. We're watching TV for 8 hours today because your
In the
parents are working 8
AC,
hours.
with
Like,
the window
yeah,
unit.
in the
I love it.
AC, exactly. I was just the worst. And I'm like, this is so boring. I don't want to do this. I never want to do this.
But you're
I'm
like,
sorry.
note to self, I don't want to do this 15 years from now. Yeah, no, so I admire anybody who
Jaded.
does it. But yeah,
Me
you have
too.
to have those conversations early and often. I don't know how people do it. And it is something you should, I don't know if it's never going to be 50-50. I think that's where people get the balance thing.
Yeah.
I think people always think it's like, it's got to be this, and I've got to spend this amount of time. It's a constantly fluctuating thing. And that balance is different for each individual person.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, like you listen to speakers and like you read these books and these articles and it's like how to find work. And it's just like, that doesn't work for me. So you have to really find what works for you, your family, your partner, you know, your business. If you're in a, you know, it's a big difference if you're, you know, a supervisor or owner or, you know, depend on your industry, right?
Yep.
It's like, this like whole thing where everyone's like this 9 to 5 and this white picket fence and this da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for everybody. And just once you let that idea go and like create your own life, look at me being Oprah over here.
I love it.
Then it's much better. Because that was my problem too. I was trying to like fit all these boxes and do these things in this weird timeline. And I'm like, you know what? Like, not my bag. Like, let's find my own bag, dude.
Yeah. Whatever balance. I was like picture in my brain that like legal scale. And it's like, okay, but if at some point my job and career are a little bit heavier, that's okay. And as long as I feel like the outcome is balanced, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, when and where and how. I feel good about it. My husband's good with it. That's all that really matters.
That's it, is right. And it's like, can you help out a little bit more? And like just constant communication. Can you help out with this while this is going crazy? I'm going to get you when you're doing this. And like, and I think where it comes into a lot of problems is sometimes people aren't look at me again. Now I'm Dr. Phil. They're not with the right people. But no, they're just not like, it's a support thing too. It's like, why isn't the balance only for you to find? No, you need other people to help.
And people that you can communicate with, I think, along the way too. Yeah. Like I just told my husband the other day, I'm like, hey, I opened the dishwasher. It's full. I cleaned all the dishes. It's fine. And I just said, hey, can you do the dishes? Like I have done, I feel like the last 7 loads. So, and he was like, oh yeah, no problem. But I also have to feel comfortable to say like, number one, can you help? And number two, by the way, that's because I feel like I've been doing them more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and he was just like, yeah, of course. And I don't know if I really did 7. I just felt that way. And so I said it, and it's just like the balance, you know, he's probably like, right. I did the last 2, you jerk, but it's fine. So
like, I'm not keeping score, but somebody else is. I'm just joking. It's fine. No, it doesn't matter. Your feeling is reality. So whatever you feel is like, I'm not saying it's true, but it's how I feel. So
it's how I feel. And I think, just having the right to like communicate those throughout the way. And like, I think, listen, life is just communication. And if you can 100%. Do it good, you get through life better.
I mean, 100%. I read these like advice columns, like every day. I don't know. I don't know. It's my little thing that I do.
Yeah.
And it's just like, everything is about, how do I talk to my husband about, how do I talk to my wife? How do I talk? Like, do you not know this by now? Like, why?
You got to just say that.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to talk to the teacher at school. I'm like, wow. Like, that's all it is. It's all about literally communicating. And even if you flub it along the way, but it's just like people staying silent and like stewing in resentment.
And do you feel like your upbringing, like your culture, your family, your mom, who she was as a person, like, do you feel like you had that very open childhood where like, you know, you always hear like Italian families are always yelling, but it's not that they're yelling. They're just always yelling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's irregular. Do you feel like your family was one that was very open and like would talk about anything, everything to the point of embarrassment? Or was it maybe the opposite where you just didn't really talk about that stuff?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say maybe as far. I know we're pretty open. Yeah. And talked about like real world events. We've always talked openly about like stuff happening in the world, you know? But yeah, we're loud, but we're loud. Bunch.
I love a good loud family.
I'm like, we're loud. But yeah, and like get passionate about things, and you know, conversations get intense, but it's because we care. And I think we've always been able to hold space to be like, okay, I don't necessarily agree. Here's my opinion. And I think I've become a better listener because of that. But there was always kind of, you know, I'm also the baby in the family.
Right.
So I know sometimes like people are like, you know, you interrupt a lot. I'm like, because nobody ever let me. I had to like, but if like you took a breath, I would like jump in because that's
you had
kind of
to.
Like, that was kind of the family dynamic. So even with this right now, I'm like trying to look at you. I'm like, wait, stop talking, Janice. So it's just, you know.
No,
I mean, if you look at my childhood report cards, it's like smart, but talks too much. It's like,
you're like, yes,
doesn't let other people. I was like, there was an opening, dude. I got things to say. Like, what do you do?
I feel like that I'm that way, but because I'm the middle child and it was, you know, my older sister, of course, it was, you know, the oldest and super smart and doing all the perfect things. And then my brother was the only boy and the baby. And so it was just like the focus on those two. So I was always like, oh, but me, hey, ooh. And so I'm
just like, cut your hair. You're like, cool, if nobody notices. Cool, thanks.
Everything I think I ever did wrong was mainly because, hey, you guys aren't paying attention to me.
That shouldn't be right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's your birthday today, is it? Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Mom.
So fill me in on some significant barriers that you've had to overcome in your life.
Ooh, just like big old ones.
What do you think are some big ones that you've had struggled with?
Man, sorry, I'm like thinking. Of course, I've had a ton. I mean, obviously, like in the business and everything, I would say, okay, let me just do most recent history. Obviously, everything with COVID happening and kind of like just destroying the event business. And I was kind of, again, just on this like path. And in a way, you know, it's interesting. Now we're 20 months out, because I count the beginning as like St. Patrick's Day of 2020. That's just
me too.
Because we had like an event like on the 13th, I remember. And when that got canceled, I was like, oh, this is the end. And then also they started canceling all the comedy stuff too. So it was like, oh, not
a panic attack all around. Yeah. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, it was crazy. So,
oh my gosh.
So kind of waiting that out and then being like, wait, why am I not? Can't wait this out. And then just like, okay, am I going to freelance in the meantime? Am I going to do this? And just like, what do I do with this thing that I like built? And so that's still been a major challenge, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. But in the meantime, I've just kind of gone with the flow and transitioned and been like, oh, what I've always done social media and stuff for like podcast and comedy and personally. And I think I have a, kind of unique voice, if you will. But I've always been a writer, and it's like, oh, that's a perfect thing. So I just like told some people, hey, I'm doing social media, and then got some clients. Like, it's just like, just when you put stuff out there, I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I just got a call the other day about jumping back on some other social media for a startup. And I'm just, okay,
That's
so
awesome.
now I'm like doing this whole other freelance thing. And it's like, or I could just like keep wallowing in like, which I did for most of last year.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's like, all right, get up, girl.
Like, especially if you were in events. I can't imagine being in events.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And it's the company you built.
Yeah.
Literally crumbling and everything's getting canceled.
It really sucked. Yeah, like letting people go because of
really
it.
Tough.
Like, and just being like, everyone's like, what's going on? I'm like, nothing's going on.
Literally.
But then still having like the same bills. And I'm like, wait, what do I do? And so that was a really big challenge. And, say what you will about the government. I mean, those PPP loans did help immensely. And it gave me like some wiggle room to figure out like what to do. So, but we'll see. I'm still like a little bit of a transition. Ask me in like 6 months. We'll see.
Okay. You might have a whole nother answer.
Yeah. What ended up happening here. Cause I don't know if I'm going to do the one part, but like I said, the other part with like digital marketing and all that's kind of
good
coming through. And I'm like, I'll do that. And then obviously this comedy and the podcast, and we're going to try to find a way to hopefully monetize the podcast and, maybe do like comedy shows around the podcast. Like it's just, it's one of those things like I don't have enough time on this side. Like, what do you do? Yeah. So it's tough. That's more the balance for me. It's like, that's my creative side hustle, but I want to make that the main hustle. And how does that work?
Yeah, that's tough too. And do you want to shout out? So we mentioned Defending Indiana, but we haven't mentioned your other podcast. Do you want to shout it out?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's like been a few episodes out, and we just switched to like another platform. So it's Las Locas Life, and that's on Anchor FM, but it's also like on, Apple and I think Google and Stitcher. So I'm still trying to figure out.
So we can find it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one is, I was trying to highlight again, like Latina and Latinx voices. And I'm still trying to find like my way with that. I did interview like a lot of just people I knew and just trying to, small business owners, creative people, and just, just trying to just highlight like kind of what's going on in the world and how individual, women and female identifying people are dealing with it. So still trying to find its little way. Like it's hard when it's one person, right? Like, that's why I say total props to Colleen Brennan, because it does really help to have like two voices,
someone to banter with.
Yeah. And like, but also just like to like frame these episodes, and there's production, there's pre-production, there's getting the guests lined up, and so that one hasn't kicked off as much as that. I think it's still trying to find its footing. So, but we'll do that as a way to kind of support and add more content to the website that allegedly is going to launch in January.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm manifesting this, right? I'm lighting a sage. You guys can't see
it's going to launch in early January 2022.
There we go. I'm putting it on my vision board.
And it's going to kick off, and then the podcast is just going to skyrocket.
There we go.
I
love it.
Manifesting
I need to call
that
you when I'm having a bad day. Let's just call Jenny Craig Brown. Like, I had this idea like about an app. Maybe somebody did it already, but you should do it. Like an app where it's just like, I feel bad about myself, and you just like somebody just has like a motivational message.
We just have like yes,
let's do it. Do it. Part of Great News Life. There you go.
Right? Exactly. It's so perfect for us. I'm into it. I don't know if I have the voice for it, but I'll make up all.
No, you do. That's what I'm saying. You have a good voice. Just be like, today's your best day ever.
Today, turn on the radio.
You got it.
Oh my gosh, I'm into it.
Some creepy background music.
Yeah.
I'll just do like, can I do smart Alec ones? Like, today's not going to be a good day. Just suck it up. Write this one off.
Listen, I love that
tomorrow. Right?
Yes, exactly. Listen, today's going to be terrible. However, you're going to be awesome, and you're going to get through it.
Right.
Sometimes,
or maybe you won't. But it's cool. Start fresh tomorrow. That's my whole thing. Because sometimes those motivational things, I'm like, that's not what I'm feeling right now. I love the smart ones.
Me too. I just like gritty input where it's like, hey, someone be real with me. Today is going to suck, and that's okay.
Yeah, that meeting's going to go horribly wrong.
You are going to ugly cry, and you're going to go home and drink wine, and then tomorrow's going to be a new day.
Which may also suck. But then the next day.
But then by Saturday, it's going to be looking up.
It's probably going to even out, right? You're going out with your friends drinking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, horrible. Just go out with your friends drinking. Everything's going to be fine.
Right. Alcohol solves everything. This is not the message of Great Life. Oh, God.
We do not condone drinking with your friends as a way to assist with your issues.
Right.
We also don't condone drinking and driving.
Yeah, exactly. Please. No. or drinking at home alone, which is also
Or don't drink
problematic.
at home alone.
You guys just stop drinking. Let's just
go lift some weights. Go
Right. Go
do a
some
plank
yoga.
or something. Yeah,
Listen to our new
exactly. You're gonna be
app.
fine. Listen to our new app called The
We don't
Nice
know yet.
Lady's Voice.
We're working on it. There's probably like 30 out there.
Yes.
I love
oh my
it.
gosh. Like calm, but like with a motivational voice behind it. I'm into it.
But like just snarky. It needs to be
Yeah,
snarky
just
motivation.
like I want to say the harshest things in the nicest voice. Just to,
See?
listen, today is gonna suck. And you are going to have a really bad day. Tomorrow might be better.
Sounds good. And if you have like some soft music in the background.
And I just want the intro to be like a chime and
Right,
then the
exactly.
outro to be the same
Here's
time.
your mantra for today.
Done and
Everybody sucks. It's not you. It's them. Things like that. Like
You really are as dumb as they seem.
right.
Okay. Yeah, let's
But
do it.
sometimes it is you. Like, right, because you got to keep it real. Because sometimes it is you. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're being a jerk. Let's be real. Sometimes you're being a jerk,
Yeah.
and people need to tell you that. It's fine.
Or like, this is not your expertise. Stop chiming in at the meeting. Like, let's
They
wrap up the
didn't want your
Zoom call.
input. They
Right.
only wanted your hug.
Exactly.
They don't want your solution.
Nobody wants your Gantt chart, Janice. Yeah, just do ones that are just like for us. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Who's Jenny? Why are you?" Damn it, Jenny. No, that's the better thing. We record it. Okay, we get people just give us their name and we record personalized ones.
I'm into it. Yes.
do it.
That's the key to success is making it personalized. And I just record.
We'll get a subscription model going. We'll do this.
We just start saying names and then we just insert them. It's fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
How many
I don't
Jennies
know.
are in the world?
Exactly.
I don't think there's a ton
Oh
of
my gosh.
Janices, but
That's true. You are a
Jenny
little bit more
market.
unique.
There's a few.
Jenny,
I've met a few. They
Jenny,
spell it differently,
Jennifer,
but-
we could do it.
Do it.
So I don't know if you've ever seen this on our podcast. It is our buzzer.
I like buzzers.
That is the sign that we have entered our quick response question round. So this is
Ooh.
the lightning round.
Quick responses are so hard for me.
Oh
as you
my
can tell.
gosh. Well,
There's gonna be a lot of
here
editing
we
of this
go.
episode. Or like, did she ever stop talking? Go
So-
ahead. Quick,
I
baby,
love
quick.
it. Some of my best friends and I, when we get together, it's literally that's the whole, like, even if it's a weekend, that's the whole weekend. It's like she talks until I interrupt her and then I talk until she interrupts me.
Right.
And then we're like, we're the best friends and we love it so much.
Right.
So it's fine. Who cares? Right.
Right.
That's the way-
You're like,
that's
what
the
time
way
is it? Oh, we've been talking straight for 12 hours. Okay, cool.
And we haven't taken a breath, but
No.
to drink wine. Yep.
Or even like got to go to the bathroom, which is bad for your kidneys.
Exactly.
Okay, lightning quick.
Okay. Ready. So if you don't answer fast enough, I will buzz you.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Okay.
How long do you sit at a green light before you honk at the person in front of you?
5 seconds.
Good. That's pretty long.
You
What
said
woman would you most want to have a drink with, living or dead?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Ooh, good one. And what would the drink be?
Like gimlets, like old school.
Okay. Okay.
Vodka
That's a good
gimlet.
one. I like that. What is one big thing that you have yet to accomplish?
Writing a book.
Ooh, good. Okay. Keep that in mind for this next one. What would the title of your biography be?
She barely made it. Musings from a region rat. That's it.
Yes, that makes me so happy. What is your favorite day of the week
Ooh.
and why?
They all just blend together. Wednesday? I think Wednesdays.
Okay, Wednesdays.
The middle.
I don't know that I've had that.
I guess the hump day thing, maybe.
Yeah, like
I
middle.
kind of feel like, oh, I still have a couple days. I freak out on Wednesdays. I'm like, ooh, I didn't get this thing done, but I still have a couple more days to do it.
Okay, it's like your savior day, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Because that was
I'm still
yesterday,
okay.
and I was like looking at I'm like, oh, but I'm like, ooh, I still got Thursday, I still got Friday. I know it's weird,
I'm gonna be okay.
but then it turns into Saturday and Sunday, and that's why I have no
And
life.
Sunday night, you're trying to finish all of it.
Literally.
Same. What is your favorite day of the week?
Favorite
Oh,
day?
I just did that.
Yeah. I was like, was Wednesday not a day?
Listen, I swear
yet,
it's the
so-
morning. I haven't really been drinking. Not yet. I just read. I don't
I
think.
know, I'm just like,
What would you rather have, invisibility or super strength, and why?
invisibility or
Yes.
super strength?
Yep.
Ooh.
You're a superhero.
Super strength.
Okay.
I want to read people's minds.
Got it.
Was that your next question?
No. Is that what you would really like to have? You want to read people's minds?
Yeah, then I think I'd be sad all the time if I really knew what people thought about me. Could you imagine? That's like the worst thing to have. It's just like,
This
what
is why
she
people are
wearing?
always like, I want invisibility. And I'm like, yeah, but then what would you do? All of us know for sure we'd all go sit in the room where people talking about us, and then we'd
This
be
is
real
what I'm
mad that we
saying.
knew everybody's opinions. 100%.
So why just be in front of them and let them like just take it? I think it's,
Exactly. Yep. No, I'm with
and
you.
then I'd cry.
And then I'd
And
be
then go to
mad.
therapy and then read the therapist's mind. She's like, she's not getting better. We're talking about
And
this
now
again.
depression is spiraling. Everything's terrible.
Yeah,
all
this is
because you
not-
gained a superpower that you
Yeah.
chose wrong on. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'll just, how about, can I just stay the same? Is that an option? Let's just stay the same.
Both are terrible.
I can manage. I'm barely managing. Remember the name of my
barely,
my memoir?
barely made it.
Yeah.
Carnival ride you hate the most.
Ooh. Dude, I love them. I'm sorry.
You? None? Oh,
None, but I won't go on them anymore because I have like this problem with my neck. But man, the zipper, woo, that was my jam. Remember the zipper?
really? No. Is that the one that like falls straight down and back up? What is it?
No, that's the one that's like, it goes, it's like this and it goes around while you are individually spinning. It's the one where
Okay.
everybody pukes.
So this is the one that most people actually say they hate. I didn't know the name
I
of
know,
it.
no, I loved it.
Really?
But now, no, I haven't been on it in 20 years. Like, get it. Yeah, get me on it now. I probably would puke. But no, but people would like puke on it. And I remember one time at August Fest, this was before they changed the name. So what is it? Wolf Lake Fest or something now?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know
So that was
name.
August Fest all growing up. And they were like the carny. I don't know if that's derogatory. The carnival worker would have the want to be politically correct here. Would always have a hose because people would puke. But then the problem is if you were up and you puked, it would like drip on you.
Yeah, like you could
And
get
I was like,
other
this
people
is fun
and
to me.
eventually yourself.
Yeah, as a 12-year-old, like this is what I'm into. But we went there all through like high school and stuff too. Like all the fests always had the zipper. Like St. James Fest, Highland Fest, all the
Yeah.
That was a big thing in the summers, like for the high schoolers.
Yeah,
like if I came back from school, like to meet people at the fest. Did
Oh
you guys
yeah,
have that?
because
you're from LaPorte, right?
I'm from LaPorte, so ours was the 4-H fair. Yours was probably now, isn't it? Festival of the Lakes. That's what we're talking about.
There we go, Festival of the
That
Lakes.
was the original Festival of the Lakes. Yeah, August Fest. And ours was the fair. And it was like, okay, you go to the carnival and the fair. All your friends are there. All the people that aren't your friends that you want to be friends are there. It's like the cool place.
A lot of pigs are there.
Yeah, like, and then you're like, oh, I have to go feed my chickens, so I'll be right back.
Wow, what a difference 30 miles makes, huh? What a difference.
Isn't that crazy? We did.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh my God.
Chicken?
It was like our favorite thing in the summer. We were like,
like KFC. You're like, no, livestock.
Yeah, like we would bring chicken. Well, we were, rural kids too. So
yeah,
I mean, most of LaPorte is anyway, but we were probably maybe a little extra on that part. But we had chickens and rabbits in the fair, and it was the coolest thing because my parents both worked, so they'd drop us off at the fair, and you'd have to feed the animals in the morning, and then you'd get to do whatever you wanted all day, and then you'd have to feed them in the afternoon, and then your parents would come get you and you'd go home. And so it was like the coolest thing for us was like we're kind of parent free for the whole day. And I mean, you're literally around a bunch of animals and you've got $5 for lunch, but still
you're like trying to make deals with the cotton candy folks. You're like, yeah, listen.
I only got $5, but
right. I was like, $5 isn't enough. It's like 2 tickets. What's going on? You're starving all day. What kind of? I think about that. Sometimes like they drop us off with like $3. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this?
What if something happens also?
Yeah, I'm like,
not even
there was no ID. I had no ID till I was like in high school.
You have $3 that you're going to promptly spend on candy and soda, and now you have not even a phone. Yeah, not even a quarter to make a phone call. Yeah, because you spent all your money, and then
kids
your parents
of the
would come
80s.
and you'd be like, "Oh, it's 3:30. We have to go meet mom at the entrance." And then
who had to watch? Who had time?
Listen. It's so crazy.
How are we alive? And then they let us watch children.
And then they were like, and watch your sister too. You can barely keep yourself alive. You're definitely not going to
watch
properly.
Their kids. We would watch like groups of kids
for like,
the parents would like give us ice. Like this made, I don't know. This doesn't sound right now that I'm saying it out loud, but it was the truth.
It was the 80s and 90s where I just don't think the
times were different. It was a simpler time.
It made us strong, gritty human beings, if nothing else.
With our Walkmans.
And yes. And our boom boxes. And if your speakers came off the main boom box, you were like the coolest kid.
Right. I had the one with like detachable speakers. It still works. My stepdad uses it as like when he's like working on a house or something. Like he still uses it. It's got paint splatter. He's like, I can't believe this thing still works. I was like, Me
It's-
either.
Right?
It's like 30 years old, 100%. Like
When
it was the big
we
thing. It was like
sound
my
like we're
big
80 years old. We're like
gift for
back
like
when
my
the things
13th
were
birthday.
made well, you know.
Right. High quality. And they had like the two tape decks. You could like make mixtapes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is such a throwback. It's like
I
the
love it.
1993 stereo of the year. I'm in love with it.
I'll take a picture next time I'm gonna go home.
Oh my gosh, post it on Instagram.
Please,
Tell
I'll
everybody
tag
about
you.
it.
I will.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, you've done it, Janice. I appreciate your time so much.
Woo!
Awesome to learn more about you. I love that you really embrace kind of who you are and that mentality of it works for you and who cares about what everybody else thinks. It's something that I think we all should strive for more and embrace more. So I appreciate your input, learning more about you, and being on.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. And please feel free to edit all my ramblings. And look out for my biography coming out next year.
Look up
on
look
Random
out.
House Publishing.
She
I'm
barely
manifesting
did
it. Who wants to read about that?
I do. Listen,
I talk about like a whole hour of going
I
to
just
White
read
Hen
Amy
Pantry.
Poehler's book.
Yeah, trying to make that
totally read that.
$3 work at the White Hen Pantry and like the 5-cent jars. A whole chapter just on that.
I love it. Well, thanks again. Have a
Hey.
great one. And we will have you guys, we'll be sharing this in December. So happy holidays, happy new year. And we'll be watching out for the Las Locas website, Las
Thank
Locas
you.
Life.
Appreciate it. Happy New Year.